So for those who haven't seen the PV or whatever, or want to see it again, or want to listen to me commentate the run, you now have a chance to do so. I will not be interacting with chat verbally. If I feel like answering a question or saying thank you or something like that, I will be doing so in chat text form, because I kind of want a clean, I don't know, like a clean comment, like a clean audio thing, because I'm not going to be doing this category in quite a while. So without further ado, let's just go into it. So if sound levels a bit off, let me know, I'll fix it. But anyways, a run starts out as every single run would do. We're just gonna pretty much skip the introduction world, like you all know. I don't know, there's not much to say about this, it's been done so many times, but pretty much we just jump around the trigger. Not the trigger, rather. We jump around the kill switch, because normally you wouldn't be able to jump off there. And straight into the van. So yeah, pretty much. Like the early game is something we've all seen, probably.
I was surprised
So
to see how well she
speedrun
took
anyway.
it.
So here we have the first
Finally, the secret
cutscene.
police file I've
The
been
first of
searching
many.
for all these years.
It's gonna be like a
With
minute
this,
or so
I can
before we
avenge
can
my
actually
family
move
and
around Sly
regain
again.
possession of our most valued treasure.
Which is one of the curses about
It
this
all
game,
began when
because
I was
pretty
just a
much
kid,
it's
bouncing on my
cutscene
father's knee.
fest.
You
And
see,
it takes 4
I come
minutes
from
to
a
reset.
long line of
So
master
if you
thieves who kept all
like,
their secrets of sneaking and stealing
it's
in
a
an
bit
ancient
weird
book.
because it's a pretty reset heavy
The
game,
Thievius
but it
Raccoons.
sucks to reset
Anyone who read it
because
learned
it
to be
literally
especially
takes
sneaky, which
like
is why
5
we
minutes
specialize
before
in stealing
you're
from
back into
criminals.
it.
After all,
So that's
there's
a bit
no
silly.
honor, no challenge, no fun stealing from ordinary people. You rip off
Yeah,
a
in the
master
meantime, I
criminal,
guess we can
and
enjoy
you
Sly
know
talking
you're a
about
master thief.
his life
Well,
story.
on the night I was supposed to inherit the book, 5 visitors came unannounced to our door. My father fought to protect us, but the gang of villains known as the Fiendish Five overpowered him and ransacked our house until they found the Thievius Raccoonus. Our family's manual of thieving greatness fell into their filthy hands. They tore
So,
the
yeah.
book into 5 pieces
This
and
run
split
had
it up. Each villain
a death
disappearing
in
the
it,
farthest corners of
which
the world
lost me, I
committing
timed it,
dastardly
lost me
crimes.
35 seconds. Had I not died,
Broken alone,
we
I
would
was
have not
dumped at the
only
town orphanage.
subbed to real, but
There
we
I
would have
met two
gotten
guys
a
who became our
very,
lifelong
very,
buddies
very
and
good
trusted
time.
crew. Bentley,
Like we're
techno
talking a
genius and strategist
105,
supreme,
like
and
20-ish.
Murray, part-time driver,
So
and
that
full-time burglar.
was really sad.
Together we pledged to track down the Fiendish Five,
But
avenge my
in the
father,
end, we
and
still got
steal
a really
back the
good time.
Thievius Raccoonus. I knew I was about
And
to
I
face
will
the
definitely,
toughest test of my
I
life.
am definitely happy
On
with this time,
mission,
I
I
should
would
say.
either become a master thief like my ancestors before
And
me,
yes,
or
I will be
fail
improving
and
it,
allow my family name to
but
bite
not
the
anytime
dust.
soon. So for those wondering, this is my last 80% run in quite a while, so we're gonna be doing Sly 100% from now on this channel, and I also want to continue learning San Andreas, and we're also gonna work on Sly 3, but pretty much I've done a lot of, I don't know,
The road trip gave me the
PlayStation,
time I
Sly
needed to
related stuff
study up
lately,
on
so I
Sir
might
Wally the Frog.
do a little bit of PC gaming for a while, not like permanently
As
or
a young
whatever,
man,
but just a
this
little bit.
hot-tempered frog grew bored of his life of luxury and privilege.
A little bit. Some San Andreas,
On a
some
whim, he
Harry
tried his
Potter
hand in a
maybe.
bit of piracy and found it to his
Get a better
liking.
time with that. I'm planning on doing Harry Potter
Raleigh,
after this,
who quickly became
just
addicted to
because I
crime,
know my
was brought
run
into
is
the
terrible,
Fiendish Five as chief machinist.
and I
where
know
his
my
evil
run didn't
tinkering
do
genius
certain
rose
strats
to
that I
new
know I
heights.
can do easily. Yes, I'm looking at you,
The
Dumbledore
last
Skip.
reported sighting of this mad machinist was off the soggy coast
Well,
of the Isle
that
of
really
Rat.
does not
A
have
small
anything to do with this run,
uncomfortably
which is
situated
actually
in the
gonna
middle
start
of a
now,
perilous
if
Welsh
you can beat that.
triangle.
After like 3 minutes and 37 seconds, we are nearing the end of the first set of cutscenes in this game. So soon we will be launched out of our little team van, and we can actually get on top of the cliff thing. So pretty much here we go. So stealthy approach. I think I got a pretty decent sign. I guess we'll see. So starting off every single run by going behind that sign, we get proxied all the way up on top of this rock. where we jump over it and skip a cutscene where Bendy tells you a little bit about the area. And this is actually intentional that you're supposed to jump on top of that rock. I don't think you're supposed to jump on the little pole thing, but we did so anyway. And skipping the first cutscene, or the first skippable cutscene that is, pretty much you slide off the edge by using the momentum of Sly's ground movement. If you take damage while in a cutscene in this game, you will cancel the cutscene. And pretty much we die, but there's a checkpoint not too far away, so it does save a lot of time over watching the actual cutscene. Like, I think we're talking 20 to 25 seconds. And then we have this cutscene. We don't have a way to skip it yet. I don't know if we ever will, because there are no real places where you could potentially set up like a proxy or catapult anywhere. So pretty much we just watch that as of now. It takes about 15 seconds. And now we're just gonna make our way past the obstacles that this level has to offer. Pretty straightforward. These spinny things can be quite annoying though. If you hit the side of it or whatever, sometimes Sly will just slide down. And this game is a one-hit kill. So if you hit the water, you're dead unless you have a horseshoe. And that's the key. And that's also the only key we're gonna collect in this entire episode, or this entire world, if people want to call it that. So pretty much the only intentional stuff we do in this world, in this game, is when there's no ways of going out of bounds or around stuff to skip cutscenes, or pretty much to cut levels in half. So, as you've probably seen before, we start off by simply going to get this lucky charm, make our way to this little fence thing. From this fence you jump the lamp, and then we're gonna trick this good old Octodad guard into shooting at us as we fall down. The splash damage from his attack takes out the generator and allows us entry into the rest of the episode. From which now we'll save the game, load the game, and keep our horseshoe, still skipping the cutscene. So we want to repeat this process, because we need 2 horseshoes. One for a trick that skips pretty much all this level by going to the boss battle straight away, and another horseshoe to skip a cutscene in the next world, in the introduction level to the next world. And pretty much now, because we saw the cutscene before, the cutscene is loaded and it will not play itself again, which is pretty based. So now we're gonna line us up behind those locks, do a series of jumps called super jumping, where Sly gets stuck in an animation, so essentially he doesn't actually hit the ground. Doing that will make the game think that Sly still stood behind the cannon when he hit the water, and when you hit the water or take damage in general in this game, you'll get taken back to the place where you were last on solid ground, which happens to be behind the cannon, and there's no wall collision, so we get taken straight through the cannon, and in which there is a loading zone rather. So we get taken to the boss battle without doing anything.
Listen, Raleigh, wipe up my family and steal what's mine, you better expect company.
So this is Raleigh, the first boss in the game, and he's like, I don't know, a mad nerd, talking about how he should have snuffed us out as well when he killed Sly's parents along with the rest of the Fiendish Five. Thank you based cutscenes for telling us this, because we wouldn't have known if we hadn't heard that cutscene like 6 million times while speedrunning this game. And I'm looking forward to hearing it 6 million more times doing 100%. Also, I'm sorry if the video is slightly shaky. This video is, like, this stream right now is literally being, just stealing the video from YouTube. But it's fine, because it's my own video, so I guess it's completely fine. But then again, we just saw this boss battle. Pretty much Raleigh will eat a fly or whatever and just turn really fat. And he's gonna jump around 5 times on this platform and deflate, allowing us to hit him. If we hit him before he deflates, our cane will bounce off him, And now his cycles has changed. Once he hit a platform, that platform will drop. I had a bit of issues actually making it to that platform with the ledge grab, so actually I lost a little bit of time because Riley had to bounce twice on a platform that he normally would only bounce once on. So that did lose me a few seconds, but nothing too major. So his last phase, is him just, I don't know, turning around himself with his tongue, swinging at us. And once he's done that 6 times, he'll deflate and we can hit him again. As we hit him, we're gonna enter the start menu and go into the map, skipping his introduction cutscene.
It had been a while since I'd been back in
And
the
here we go,
US.
on our way to Mugshot's world.
Next up, the notorious Mugshot. Ruthless muscle of the Fiendish Five. What he lacked in brains, he definitely made up for in brawn. Turns out he wasn't always that
Another
way.
cutscene that is unskippable
He grew
for
up
what
as
we
the
know,
run of the
and
litter.
also very loud at that. It's a very loud cutscene, and
A neighborhood weakling.
the game has some issues.
The only friends he could turn to were usually found on the big screen.
It has some
It was there that
issues
he
with
spotted his first gangster,
sound levels,
and he knew instantly
for
that's
whatever
what he wanted
reason.
to be.
Like,
He spent the rest of
cutscenes
his
are
youth
very
working
fucking
really
loud,
hard to get
whereas
there.
the normal
Fueled on
game
streams of
sounds
great
are
power
not
and
actually that loud.
With enough perspiration, he realized that dream. He'd become a hard-boiled, street-brawling, tough-as-nails gangster, ensuring that he'd never be picked on or pushed around again. So he's holed up in Mesa City, huh? I've always wanted to go to that thriving American boom town.
And once again, we get a little cutscene before each world, telling us a little bit about the boss battle coming up. Well, not actually the boss battle, but like the personality or the history or whatever of the main dude that we're gonna face off at the end. And yeah, so pretty much we go into the first level of this world. First of all, we're gonna jump around this huge sign to skip a cutscene, and then we're gonna do something similar right now. Not because we're gonna skip a cutscene, but simply because it's faster. And yeah, so now we're gonna use this horseshoe that we have on skipping this cutscene over here. From this platform, we can gain momentum to slide off the edge, and once again, taking damage in cutscenes means it cancels itself out. The rest of this level is pretty straightforward, no real optimizations, other than you can get like a one cycle over here, which I failed to get in this run for whatever reason. I think I could have gone for it if I had just ran, but I hesitate here for whatever reason, so I stop up and wait. Then we get this blockage arm over here, which we're gonna use to skip to Mugshot, similar to the way that we skip to Raleigh. And that's pretty much the end of like glitching the game to the point where we skip huge chunks of it. From this like part on after we skip to Mugshot, we're gonna play it pretty intentionally, other than the fact that we're gonna go out of bounds quite a few times to not only skip like cutscenes but huge parts of huge levels. So this is over now, this level, and we're gonna go into Mugshot's main hub world, from which we're gonna go to the boss battle without getting a single key. So first of all, loading the game here to get placed into the hub world, and straight away there's a cutscene which we're gonna skip simply by loading up again. So this dude over here will not spot us if we jump for whatever reason. So like that's the same thing for all the guards in this game. If you're in the air while still in the guards' lights, they just don't see you. And we're gonna catapult from this rock up on top of this roof. From this roof we're gonna jump and jump and jump and get out of bounds. And soon we're gonna go back into bounds into the casino and pretty much go straight to Mugshot. So yeah, we hide behind that curtain, do the same series of jumps like before, where we skip touching the ground. And then we're gonna pretty much take damage behind Mugshot's mustache, taking us through his elevator thing, of which there's another loading zone. And here's the boss battle. He's also very mad, obviously.
Wait a second. I seen that stick before.
Maybe when my father knocked your block off with.
So yeah.
Wow. You're a Cooper? You know that
Thingus Rakamagoo is exactly what we're gonna get back.
So you don't mind just handing it over?
So these guys are just having a nice little conversation before we're gonna take him out. I think I might have slightly messed up this battle actually. I did not get the little weird hit on him that skips his little animation where he throws his guns. So we get to see that, which lost me 5 seconds. So this boss battle is as easy as they get. It's pretty much just hitting mirrors. And because he took a weird path and going to the right of the little crystal thing, I didn't really know what to do, so I just went with just hitting the mirror instead of waiting for him to figure out where he wanted to go. Because I felt like that was the most viable option and the most safe, just in case he decided to randomly shoot me. And so this is the next phase, where I am gonna play this safe, because if I had jumped that ledge, that gap, Mugshot would have shot me midair, and I didn't feel like losing a run to this battle. And good thing I did, because if I had died there I would have reset and we would have never gotten the 105, so pretty much we're done with this boss battle now. There's only the last phase remaining. We're gonna hit mirrors yet again. We're gonna death abuse though, with the last mirror, which will allow us to not watch his introduction cutscene. So this was actually kind of a sloppy battle. Not only did I not get like the little hit on him to skip his little animation, but also I had to reroute myself and walk around the gap instead of jumping. So that was silly. So yeah, we take damage straight after hitting the last mirror. So we die as it autosaves. And that skips watching his cutscene. So now we're going into Miss Ruby, another cutscene that is unskippable. And there was a few sloppy mistakes in the swamp, but nothing too major. We still saved quite a bit of time here, but nothing was like perfect. Nothing was perfect in China either. I actually didn't think this run was gonna PB, but it did, and it PB'd by quite a bit, which we'll see later. So that's kind of sad. Well, it's not sad that I cut the time, obviously, but it's kind of sad that like it wasn't a solid run. It was pretty clean, but it wasn't solid. Like I had some silly mistakes that were not necessary at all. So here we go, the Dread Swamp Path, which is once again like the introduction to the up and coming hub world, and this went pretty well. We still did pushy strats though. I didn't change anything. Pretty much played it safe as it gets, but yeah. I love this music. So this was done offline. As of speaking today, it was yesterday, which means that it was the 18th of November. And I did an offline run while extremely tired somehow. I don't know how I managed to get such a good run while so tired, but whatever. So we skip a lot of the level there by simply jumping to the left to this platform, and then slope jump up the little Tiki Taka guy, from which we're gonna jump to this platform and hit candles. We skip a cutscene by jumping onto the little tree trunk. In that cutscene, Bentley pretty much tells us that we had to destroy these candles in order to break Miss Ruby's voodoo magic. And now we can get the key. And we can actually enter the hub world now. So I'm trying to remember how well chicken and fish went. I guess we'll see soon. But I think they were actually pretty decent. So obviously this is not live. Like I'm live streaming now, but the run itself is not live. So we're gonna take advantage of whatever the hell Miss Ruby was about to say and go into the Lair of the Beast, where instantly we'll get greeted by a cutscene. Once again skippable by simply loading up the game. If you've ever played this game casually, you would know this level from the giant snake that's gonna like follow you. We're not gonna see any snakes because we're gonna be doing silly stuff. So I tried to get a new strat where I get on top of that little ledge thing, but that was kind of bad. I failed it, so I had to do backup strats by jumping on top of the little mask thing and go out of bounds. And pretty much we follow this wall around and just go to the key, and that's it. So we skipped the whole entire being chased by a snake thing. And yeah, it was pretty good. So as I pressed the square button to sort of swing at the cage rather, I pressed the start button as well and chose to exit the level, because that skips a little animation where Sly triumphantly throws his key up into the air that he just got from the level. So it's pretty good. So this is Fish, the first mini game that we play in the run. And in the run I had before this run, Fish went kind of bad. And so I had some time to save here, and I'm pretty sure I did save time, but how much time I saved I cannot really be sure of. But so far it's been going pretty well. Pretty much what we want to do in Fish is just not go for singular fish, but rather group of fish where there's more than like 2 or 3 in, and just like try to light up each torch as we pass it, so we don't really have to stop up to do stuff all the time. That's pretty much the fastest way to do this. You can clip through the gate somehow. It's really dumb, and it's really hard to pull off on a run, so that would be either Taz, or if you wanted to do a 6-minute run you would go for that. You wouldn't want to go for it in like an attack where like I would in. But yeah, this is a pretty good fish so far, and I do believe it's gonna continue to be a decent fish. I think I got like a 42 second remaining fish, or maybe it went a little worse. Yeah, it definitely did go a little worse, so it was a 39, but that's also a lot better than my run that I did before this run. And so I thought the run was dead there, because I exited the level without having the key, but luckily for me, Sly still moves after you exit, and he also still moves when the loading or like the map comes up again. And I got the autosave, so I was ready to reset there, but I did not, luckily. I thought I wasn't gonna get it. So now we go into a grave undertaking where there's various ways of beating the level with speedrun strats. We're gonna do some pretty old strats, because I simply do not need the new strats to get a good time, which this run proves. We're gonna jump around this little thing first, because it's a little bit faster than destroying the vines. And here's where we can actually save a lot of time. If we jump on top of that hook that I just jumped from, you can jump out of bounds, and from out of bounds you can jump on top of a vine, and then you can go pretty much straight to the key, which saves a lot of time. Instead I'm gonna do the old strats where I jump out of bounds here instead. This ghost is gonna come at me, but we're gonna take him out, and then we're gonna jump back into bounds before jumping out of bounds again. Like so, and from here we just follow this wall around, and the key will come up to our right. So I thought I was gonna make this commentary video to not only have a commentated version of my PB, but also to have sort of a tutorial guide, a tutorial run. We already have Sharo's very based YouTube tutorial, but it doesn't hurt having like a full run where stuff gets explained to. So pretty much what happened there before was we jumped out of bounds by doing something called a slope jump off that little wall thing, and then we can get out of bounds. Going out of bounds saves a lot of time over getting to where you have to throw the keys and doing it like as intended, because there's a very unnecessarily long cutscene with a giant snake destroying the gate that blocks your entry from the rest of the hub world, and we skip that by simply going out of bounds and going around it. So there's two ways of beating this level. One way is what I'm doing right now, by being safe and doing the slope jump, bone jump rather, sorry. I actually messed it up, but I had a lucky charm, so it was fine. The other way is to jump from the bone at the very start. You can get a little boost of that bone and jump on top of the platform without taking damage. And that's a lot faster than what I did. So from here we pretty much skipped like half of the level. So from here on out we're just gonna play it semi-intentionally in this level anyway. Smacking that dude, and I got a one cycle here. I was too big of a pussy to go for the second one cycle, but I think I could have made it. So I wouldn't have had to wait for any fire at all. But as I said, I played this a little bit carefully and a little bit safe. So this vine does not spawn until you destroy that candle that we just saw before. And once that candle that gets destroyed, it triggers all this. And there's the key. So I jump off the vine and then swing at the king. You can swing at the cage from the vine, but I've tried too many times where Sly just does not get like the key for whatever reason. And so I just decided to not do that this time. So next up is a Ghastly Voyage, or as I like to call it, the Shooty Bang Bang level. Because when I just started doing this game, I would destroy a bunch of stuff in this level. To get coins, because coins gives you lucky charms. And lucky charms are good. They're very good. Wait, actually, did I actually go for coins in this? Did I play it so safe that I actually went for coins? I can't remember, but I might have. Like, if I lose my horseshoe at some point in this level, I definitely will be going for coins. Because the next, like, sort of level we go into is a stupid little minigame called Down Home Cooking. Where a bunch of chickens, or rather where we are supposed to destroy a bunch of chickens, but angry roosters with bombs will try to stop us, and those hurt quite a bit. So there's not much to say about this level. I did actually take damage there because I'm a bad player, apparently. So now I am destroying stuff to get coins, like scrub. I seem to recall that happening. So yeah, from here on out, I'm trying to sort of go really fast, but still play it safe, like a mix of those, because I don't want to take damage. Because if I take damage, the run is over. But at the same time, this went good in my previous run, so I kind of had to go fast and save time. Otherwise, like, I wouldn't have saved as much time as we did. So yeah, just destroying a bunch of stuff, taking it carefully. Like normally those things would get destroyed regardless, but I sort of wait back and instead of rushing through it just to get some coins. And now we're only 5 off getting another horseshoe. So this went kind of shaky, because I really didn't want to go full YOLO on it, but at the same time I still wanted those coins and they were far away. That's sort of a wasted way to do this. I'm doing something very slow. Pretty much if you have the balls, you can go like in the back line of this level, like just to the right left of Sly, and you can stand there and shoot all the pillars and the ghosts coming at you pretty easily. But once again, we played very safe, and everything we did was pussy strats pretty much. Because fuck being risky in this game. So next up is chickens, and after chickens we have the boss battle. So Down Home Cooking is a level that I had a lot of like trouble with when I just started out running it. because of these roosters that are gonna appear in any second now. They carry around bombs and will try to like jihad bomb you. And I think I took damage pretty early as well, like that's not good. You don't want to take damage to the chickens. Taking damage from chickens are bad. Yeah, look, they have the strats, they're gaining on me. I think I took damage. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure I did. And lost my horseshoe, so when you lose your horseshoe here, you can load up the game when you're like done and get it back and then exit the level. So losing a horseshoe here is not too bad, because you can get it back if you load the game. Because the game remembers you having a horseshoe if you load up. But yeah, pretty much. Already now this is pretty slow. I think my best time for this has been like with 42 seconds remaining. And there's like 30 left now, and I still need 9 more chickens. So apparently I didn't take damage. Oh, there we go. Now I was really scared, because like that rooster just spawned right on top of me. So we load up the game to reclaim our horseshoe and then hit the key, getting the autosave. And then the game still recognizes us beating the level. And at this point, because I was 31 minutes in pretty much, I thought I wasn't gonna save time on Miss Ruby. But apparently I was gonna. And quite a bit actually. I think I saved like 32 seconds maybe. Something like that anyway. So, a Deadly Dance, which starts off with another cutscene, yet, well, also unskippable, I should say. And Miss Ruby she talks really slowly, like she just never shuts up.
Yeah, well, you give me the creeps too, lady.
Excuse me.
Cooking up an army of ghosts isn't a very neighborly pastime.
So these guys are just like having a friendly chit chat. And Miss Ruby being as weird as always. Blah blah blah.
If Jaws need to flap, then let them flap. See you in the next world, Slack Hooper.
So this level, or this battle, have quite a few optimizations. First of all, we're gonna make our way over here, and from here we're gonna jump out of bounds onto this root. From the root you can jump to the right and mash X to gain momentum on that little cliff thing. Then you can jump on that branch, and you can walk on invisible boxes right here. From where we wanna burn our lucky charm, because we kinda wanna die behind Miss Ruby. Because if we die behind Miss Ruby, we get a checkpoint there. And that pretty much skips her first phase. You skip hitting her once, and hitting her that one time takes about 40 seconds, because she teleports away and then she talks to you about some shit. So that's really slow. So this is an actual boss battle. And it's pretty much just a quick time event. Or as we like to call it, the Dance Revolution slide DLC. Just dodging her attacks, her voodoo magic. So most runners in this part goes for the mashing strats, where you simply just mash your controller so hard. Because this game, and this level in particular, likes to drop inputs like there's no tomorrow. If you get hit by one of her things, you have to do pretty much the entire battle over again. And obviously we don't want to do that. So already now I'm losing time on my best segment, which means that if I played as well as I did throughout all my attempts or whatever, I would have been done with this already. But we're pretty much done with the fight now. There's one more trick coming up when we get to hit her, which we will soon. This is always, for me, a scary part, because in the past I had a lot of issues with this battle. because of dropped inputs and me not being able to mash, and also me messing up this upcoming strat like pretty much all the time. So here we go. So she's gonna slap her tail, and once she's done that, we can go behind her, load up the game, and as the game fades out, we can mash the square button rather. So like as you fade out, you can mash that button, and you will hit her twice, and that will like you'll take her out. So you can go to the next world already after that. Once again with like we skip 2 of her phases. So it's pretty optimized battle. Like I don't think we could do much more. So coming up is the Panda Kings level,
fascinated by the fireworks
which takes place in China.
He spent a decade
This went pretty decent. I did have a death in it, like I explained earlier, losing me a lot of time. Way too much time.
His shabby clothes and chased him away.
But nonetheless, we still saved time on this, and it was still pretty good. There's a very stupid trick in this level called spinning, which went pretty well.
And from then on, his explosive touch became
definitely faster than my PB,
He's rumored
so that was
to be
really good.
perfecting
I was really pleased with
firework
it.
technique high in the unstable Kunlun Mountains.
But we'll come to that eventually. That's like, nah, I feel like it's the central part of this sort of level. Like you do that toward the middle. This, I don't know, like there's quite a few optimizations in this. And this first level, the introduction level, is no exception. So we have a lucky charm of the Miss Ruby battle, because since you load up the game, you get your lucky charm back if you had one entering said level, which we did. So we take out this guy and jump on top of this pole. From this pole we can jump out of bounds, and that was pretty good actually, because that, like, I didn't lose time trying to jump up on top of that pole, which I tend to do sometimes, because it's a pretty tricky jump. So we go out of bounds to skip a cutscene. The Panda King launches fireworks at something, and snow falls and buries an entire village, so that gets skipped. And that's also an unskippable cutscene, like you're not able to access the menu, so you can't load up the game. So we're coming up toward the end of the level now, and there's 2 ways of beating this last part. We're gonna do the intentional way and the safe way, even though like the quote-unquote risky way is not actually risky. It still has killed a few runs before. So we skip doing that entire little phase by simply slope jumping off the little wall thing and just swinging the game, exiting the fireworks. And those guards just do not give a shit, because they're not supposed to like spot you like that. They're supposed to spot you when you sneak on the little, like along the wall from which we slope jumped. So up here there's a key, and this key will allow us entry to the main hub world. What you could have done was doing a super jump around the gate, which we're gonna go and unlock now, and then suiciding somewhere behind the gate. That will take us through the walls and into a loading zone. But we still have to go back into the world here to get the key, because we need all the keys to go to the Panda King's boss battle. So here we go, the hub world. We're gonna load up the game to get into the hub world instead of being slightly off it. And now we're gonna go and be Murray's guardian angel in the King of the Hill, where Murray pretty much makes his way toward a key. This is also the first time in the run we see Murray like outside of the van and outside of binoculars and whatnot. So there he is.
Let's do it, Sly.
So there's a little fireworks over there that we're just gonna like fire straight away. Also, you'll see me shooting guards through nothing, or through walls rather, we don't see them. And pretty much if Murray gets scared, he will cower and walk back a few steps, which loses us a little bit of time. So far Murray hasn't gotten scared at all yet, so this was a really good start. So if you manage to take them out before they scare Murray, then you save a few seconds. Some of them are a little bit more, like a little bit trickier than others to like get a kill on before they scare Murray. Like that guy in there, for one, I have never gotten before he scared Murray. I know it's possible, but I haven't gotten it myself yet. So this is supposed to be... Actually, let me drop some trivia here. This entire level, like China itself, was supposed to be the first in the game. Which also reflects in the Painted King's boss battle, because it's pretty easy and pretty like straightforward. So there's a level similar to this in Mugshot's world, and there's also a race. The race and like the Guardian Angel missions in Mugshot's world are both a lot more like difficult than this is. But for whatever reason they swapped Mugshot's world and the like Painted Kings out with each other or whatever. So here we go. So this is the last phase. The key is right there, but Murray is scared, so we need to take out these guards before he'll go get it. So I got decent RNG on this. We want the guards to not spawn on top of the roofs, because if they spawn on top of the roofs, it takes a little longer to take them out. But we did get a few spawns up there, like that one. So like ideally they should all spawn down, but that never happens. There we go, Murray got his hands on the key and we're done with this level. And a little lovable cutscene by Murray being so happy for finally getting his own key. Because the two keys you get in like Mesa and Mugshot's world I completely skipped doing. So this is the Unseen Foe. And the Unseen Foe is a level that normally treats me pretty well, but it has also fucked over so many runs. And you'll see why. So first of all, jump behind that little escalator thing. Because then that guard will not hit you with his thing, he'll hit the escalator instead. So this went not too well, because as you saw right there, I got hit by that guard. Luckily I had my horseshoe, but now I was a little bit skeptic about this jump. But I got it, so it wasn't even a problem. And that skips a lot of the level. Jumping into the little the guard post house thing. Once again, if you jump over guards' light, they will not spot you. You need to be on ground when they flash their lights at you, otherwise then like they just don't see you for whatever reason. So there's a tricky jump you can do here. I chose not to do the tricky jump and instead doing the level casually. Well, not casually, but more intended by going around. It's like 5 seconds slower. And now this is where we're gonna do strats. So we're gonna jump up on this little like thing, because you can actually stand there, and from there you can jump around and go to the key, which is at the bottom of this pagoda. So I take it very slow here. I want my horseshoe back, so I load up the game and then go and take the key. Normally I would just like YOLO at the key, but not this time. What the level really wants is you to follow that line all the way back to the other tower, pretty much, but we don't really want to do that, so we can go to the key a lot quicker by simply jumping from, you know, the little platform I was on. So next up is the Flaming Temple of Flame. Another level where we skip a lot of it by abusing the physics in this game. We do something called hook jumps, which you'll see in a second. Pretty much we use the hooks, like the hooks here in the ceiling, to gain momentum. And with that momentum we can get on top of this, which is somewhere you're not supposed to be yet. I got kinda bad hook jumps, I kinda messed it up a few times, but it was fine. Like, normally the game wants you to detour and like do a lot of stuff, but we just We just do hook jumps, man. We don't want to do that shit. So yeah, we in there. So we're just gonna play out the level as intended the rest of the time. There's not much more to this, like we're pretty much done. We just need to go to the end of this little thing. And I thought I was gonna get hit by that laser, but for whatever reason I didn't. And once again, hit the key cage and press start to exit the level before the key cage animation drops. So now we're coming into spinning. Jumping on that little edge and then out of bounds to skip another one of those like key animation things where Sly throws his key into the locks and unlocks stuff. It's a lot quicker to just simply go out of bounds. And here I tried to go around the little trigger so I could get into the mission itself without having to watch Sly blow it up with this little vehicle. I failed to do so. So this is spinning. And we don't really know exactly how it works, and we don't know how to manipulate it, so this is completely random. But you just go into this corner and spin, and then you get launched out of bounds as you just saw. And that skips the entire level. Like we go straight to the key now, we just have to destroy this pillar. So as you could probably imagine, that is a huge like run killer. Like if you spend too much time on this, the run is over, and there's nothing you can do to like manipulate it or make it better. Which is why a lot of the Sly runners, including myself, don't necessarily seem to like speedrunning this as much as maybe like some other games, because there's a lot of bullshit in it. Also, my cat is trying to climb on top of me. So I'm struggling a little bit there by simply being bad. But here we go, Duel by the Dragon. And this is the level I died in, and this is the level that lost me 30 seconds. So coming up is a pretty huge cutscene skip. It's a very, no, I guess not tricky to get, but it's precise. So we wanna be at the very like left side of this roof. If we get too far to the right, we'll activate the cutscene. And it's like a 35 to 40 second dialogue between Sly and Carmelita. It's a little bit faster to simply jump from the first firework to the little platform instead of waiting to jump to the next one. So yeah, we're closing on the point where I decided to die. Obviously it wasn't on purpose, and it was very silly. We'll see why in a minute. So as this bridge or whatever, like gate drops, we just take damage there on purpose to like lose our horseshoe, because we need to do a death abuse now. And here we go. So I'm jumping on top of this safe, then jumping and swinging my cane to activate a checkpoint that's on top of that pillar. However, I failed to get the checkpoint. Like I didn't get it, so I have to do all this again, and that literally wasted me like 35 seconds. So that was very devastating, and I felt very bad about that. That pretty much, like, it didn't kill the run, because obviously we still PP'd by quite a bit, but that was very, like, sad. So there we go, I successfully pulled it off there. Got the cutscene thing, no, not the cutscene, the trigger for the checkpoint, and then I went into my save pause menu thing really quickly to check if I had enough lives, because if I didn't, then, like, game over, it's over. So now we're nearing the end of this level. Nothing that, like, the only thing that can really go wrong here is Carmelita shooting like one of the icicles out from underneath your feet. Or the game can soft lock on these fireworks up here, because pretty much if you're really unlucky when you hit these fireworks that I'm about to hit, Carmelita can just shoot them out of the air. And if she does that and one of the fireworks don't connect to like the dragon statue, well then the game stops working. Like it expects you to hit the dragon, but you don't, because one of them got taken out. So here we go, once again loading the game and getting the key. Loading the game gives us back our horseshoe, and we can still beat the level while it fades out. So that's a pretty good trick to yeah, pretty good trick and a pretty good thing to remember when speedrunning this. So last up is the last level before the boss battle in this world. It's a race where Murray
Hurry, what are you doing down there?
is gonna get a key, and Murray like explains it pretty well himself, like why he's racing.
Hey Murray, you gotta keep your energy up. So I hurry over here, and then all of a sudden, monkeys are everywhere, bugging me to race them 3 times around this track for a key.
You could use the key. Think you could take them?
Come on, Sly, they're a pack of monkeys. How can I lose?
Alright, remember, steer with the left stick and press square to use any nitro boosts you collect. Keep clear of those icy patches.
Thanks for the advice, Sly, but trust me, I got this under control.
Excuse me. So this is the race that I talked about earlier when I said that there was a race in this world. This is a lot easier than the one in Moksha's world, where there's also a race. So pretty much, what we want to do in this race, like ideally, is to get all the nitros and use the nitros while we turn around to boost faster around the turns and the twists. But I had a very poor start. I did not get like any nitros at all, which made me a little bit sad. Like, spoiler alert, Murray wins this race. So yeah, use the nitros around corners to make you turn faster. But other than that, I mean, this is pretty much just a little silly minigame with no real like strats. Like the AI doesn't really stand a chance if you just use the nitros around corners or on long, like sort of drag racy roads. Like here, you have a lot of space to just waste your the good old nitro boosts. So we're already in the last lap. So not much else to explain. It's pretty self-explanatory, really. Just boosting and shit. But yeah, I hope like people can use this as sort of a tutorial run as well. As well as just like obviously maybe, I don't know, watching a pretty good and decent run. Even with that death, it's still a very respectable time in my opinion. Like it can obviously be a lot better, but I'm very happy with the time I got. And apparently I also did something to upset Windows on my recording. Like I guess I deleted a message on Skype or something, I don't know. But Windows definitely got upset. So now we're gonna go to Panda King, and you'll see now why this boss battle is intended to be the first boss battle in the game, because this is not hard at all.
I see you carry Kane of notorious Koopa thief clan. Have you come here for revenge? To steal back the devious Raccoonus?
That was my plan at first, but now I'm more interested in...
So once again, they just
Avalanche
sort of
extortion rat.
conversate a little bit with each other.
If I bury a few worthless village in snow, you are a thief, just like me.
No, that's only half right. I am a thief. From
Talking
a
that
long
smack
line of
talk, yo.
master thieves. While you're just a frustrated firework artist turned homicidal pyromaniac.
Insolent child, you shall pay dearly for your disrespect. Still, to honor your Cooper ancestry,
I remember I was very surprised to see how much time I saved on this, like considering my death.
firework technique.
Because I knew that death lost me a lot of time, but the rest of like China had went pretty well. So I figured I'd just go ahead and continue. Like it wouldn't be atypical for me to have just reset straight away, but everything had went pretty well, and I was like 48 seconds ahead of like China, or the swamp rather, sorry. So I decided to just keep going. So this boss battle, you wanna hit him 9 times, then he's gonna cower, and on the 10th time he's gonna bounce you away with his belly. And as you fly away, just mash the circle button, and Sly will use his super sneaky thief moves to land behind one of those little like edges or whatever, where you can see the thief auras. So this is the last phase. just gonna hit him a few times. Then when there's only like 2 or 3 hits left, just load up the game and keep mashing square. You'll get the last hit on him and the autosave too. And now you can go straight to the last world of this game, which is Clockwork's world in Russia.
We were on our way to the Krakkarov volcano in Russia. While looking over what little information I had on the final member of the Fiendish Five, I began to notice something. In the 4 parts of the Thievius Raccoonus recovered so far, several of the pictures depict a shadowy owl-like figure, which looks very similar to the police images of the mysterious Clockwork. Is this a strange coincidence,
shit.
or is there something?
And yeah,
I'm
that is
missing?
on YouTube, obviously. I'm streaming it straight off YouTube. So if you want to see this run without my horrible commentary, you can go to my YouTube channel and watch it. So this is a hazardous path. The first level in the game. Not in the game, in this sort of little world area thing. So this is pretty much an auto-scroller, but you can still lose time if you're slow on destroying certain enemies, which I actually was. I somehow completely managed to miss some of these Robo Falcons coming up now. So that was kind of disappointing. Like if you don't take out these hostile Robo Falcons, like the van will just stop rolling until they're all gone. Like you can see I'm not hitting anything right now, and now they're gonna, like that guy's gonna charge at me, and because it took a while, like the van simply just stopped like driving, and that lost me a little bit of time. Even on an auto-scroll you can lose time in this game, sadly. So those rocks are gonna fall, and like luckily I didn't get hit, because I was really bad at clearing out those rocks. You can clear out most of them even before they get near the van. And we've already seen everything in this. Like pretty much we just see Robo Falcons, rocks and mines. Gonna see some more rocks now. These takes a few more hits though. But also not concerned. That was really close though. I did not I did not remember it as being that close, because holy balls. That rock almost took me up. So this is the last little challenge that this level throws at you. All these Robo Falcons. So it just flies around, and if you don't take them out fast enough, they'll charge you. And I think when I started, like I had a lot of really good runs once I went for my sub 110 run. And like a lot of these runs managed to die on this level, because those Robo Falcons at the very end just completely wrecked me. But luckily I had a whole shield this time, so even if they had hit me, it wouldn't have mattered at all. So here we go, this is Burning Rubber, which is another minigame. It's a race between you and the fire slugs. So you just pretty much want to get 60 computers that drop randomly from the ceiling. Once it, like this is one of the few elements in the game where there's actually RNG. The only RNG there is in this game is where chickens spawn in Down Home Cooking, and where the fish spawn in Piranha Lake, and now obviously also where these computer drops come from. Or the land rather, we all know they come from the ceiling. But yeah, you just drive around, take all these computers. It's pretty important to sort of like bounce the camera around, because you would love, like I prefer anyway, to like know where all the slugs are, because if you're not careful, the slugs will just win the race straight up. So yeah. A few people that run this game use a very specific method of holding the controller during this phase. Something I believe is called the claw. Apparently it makes it a lot easier to pan the camera around and drive at the same time. I didn't do that. I play with the same like way all the time. Pretty much. But there we go. We got 60 computers, and we can now go into the next level. And that was pretty fast. It could have been faster, but I think I saved time on this over my PB. And obviously Murray with his like stupid ass AI just drives straight into that wall. So coming up is the most stupid skip in this entire game. Well, oh sorry, that was an insult. Obviously spinning is the most stupid thing in this entire game, but this is a close second. Pretty much we skip Bentley's hacking minigame. By using this turret to my right, it's gonna launch us over the cutscene trigger and behind Carmelita, like it did right there. And I remember on Skype I just went, like in Skype chat, I just went "we" in there with capital letters, because that was really good in my PB, and this was only a little bit slower. Pretty much what you want to do is jump toward like where the little fence or whatever, like where it bends, and then jump back once toward the turret, from which you want to go up and left with your analog stick. It gives you like enough height. And once you're done with that, mash the start button to get into the save menu before like the cutscene with Carmelita commences. And now we're just back in another Guardian Angel level. Not that much to it. If you're fast, you can shoot out those things quickly. And so Sly will just be able to run over here without the fire slugs being able to catch him. And sometimes they do some funky stuff, because they're not supposed to be so many like fire slugs up there at the same time. And one of them did actually get launched like down from the platform. But nothing really that funny happened this time. So this is the second last level of the game. This is called a Sinking Peril, and you know how in Sly games when you press the circle button and Sly goes somewhere that he's not supposed to go? Like he lands on some other stuff than you wanted him to land on, or begins crawling on the pipe that you didn't want him to grab to. That happens a lot in this game. In this level. And we call that super sneaky thief moves. And there's so many different things that Sly can interact with at this level that it sometimes completely like screws you over. Luckily, nothing happened this time. But I did also play it extremely safe, as you can see here. It's possible to like do this a little bit faster. But I didn't. I played it very safe. You can like those little electrical things, you can jump around them to skip waiting, but it's a little bit tricky if you don't know how to, and I didn't practice at all before this run, and I was really tired, so I just went with it. Just chilled out, because I knew the PP was safe if I just played it safe, and I still have a lucky charm, so even if I somehow mess up on the clockwork fight, I'm not gonna like lose any time, because I'll be fine. So going into this, you just want to mash the start button. Mashing the start button opens up the menu, and from the menu you can load skipping his first cutscene. Some people dislike this battle, saying it's like hard, difficult, but honestly this is one of the easiest boss battles, like one of the easiest last boss battles in any game I've ever played. Like this is literally no challenge at all for me. And it shouldn't be a challenge for you either. Like it's very easy to dodge everything it throws at you. So that's the first phase down. The second phase is gonna come up after a cutscene, where once again these guys just talk and talk and talk.
You're so familiar with my family. You must have known my father had a son.
I've been speculating a little bit about the idea of loading the game here and doing the rest of, like doing the first phase again, but I don't know if this cutscene will be loaded then, and I don't know if it would even be faster. And if it's faster, if it's worth the risk. But pretty much this boss battle should take about 3 minutes in total. After you've take out Clockwork, there's some platforming you have to do to get to his head. And that takes about 20 seconds unless you go for a semi-risky strat. So here we go. This is the last phase, really. Calm Leader once again shoots at Clockwork to open gaps in his armor. But Clockwork this time, instead of shooting small pink stuff at us, he shoots purple rings instead. And there we go, I almost got purple ringed. And if you don't know what that is, for some reason this game sometimes throws the rings back at you even though you already dodged them. And if you don't have a lucky charm, and if you get hit, then you're dead. And you have to take, like, you have to do the entire battle over again. And that's devastating for a run. But luckily, like, I didn't get hit, and even if I got hit, I would have been fine. Because lucky charms and whatnot. So here we go. This is the very last part of this run. You can jump from that little thing I was on. If you do a extended double jump, you can grab onto a pipe near Clockwork, and you can skip doing pretty much all of this platforming that I'm doing right now. But even though I had a lucky charm, I opted to not go for it for whatever reason. Had I gone for it, I would have saved 15 seconds or something like that over doing all this. But now we're at Clockwork's head, and we can take it out. And there we go. My splits were locked, so I split it 2 seconds too slow.
It took some tricky maneuvering.
So the time
I managed
says
to snatch that
104.44,
last
but it was
piece of the
definitely
Thievius
it was a high
Raccoonus Clockwork's claw.
105.42.
I had taken down each member of the Fiendish Five. Raleigh,
Like it was
Mugshot,
probably
Radius Ruby,
0.91
Panda
split
King,
seconds or
and
milliseconds or
finally
whatever.
Clockwork. I'd beaten them all one by one and reclaimed my birthright.
But it was
Of
definitely a
course,
42.
there was no way I could have gotten
So-
here without the help of my pals.
That's it.
I know
That's
this
the
hasn't been
PB.
easy for them, yet they stuck with me through it all. Murray, boy, it took a lot of guts for him to get out in the field with me. I know he was scared, but he's got more heart than anyone I've ever
So it
known.
was a good run.
Thank
A
goodness
run
for
that
Batman.
I'm definitely
Without
pleased
his
with.
expertise, I'd have never found my way
Like,
off that rooftop in Paris.
It's gonna take a while before I'm even gonna
do.
do this category again.
Who could ever forget
And it's
the
gonna
lovely
take even more
Carmelita?
time before I'm gonna beat this
Looks like
time.
we're not
Because
gonna
this
be
was
friends
not a
anymore.
bad time at all, even with that
Now
death.
the Clockwork's death ray is out of
Like,
commission. We're back to playing
pretty
cops
good.
and robbers.
Really good.
I thought for sure
So
she was going to
as of
slap the
recording
handcuffs
this,
on
this
me
is the
right then
fifth
and there.
best time
But instead, she was true to her word and gave me that 10-second head
on the
start.
leaderboard.
10,
So this is the fifth
9,
quickest way
8,
that anyone has ever beaten this game.
6,
That we know
5,
of, anyway.
4,
So
3,
I'm pretty happy about that.
2.
And we're 2 seconds off the guy with the time closest to this, which is Surreal. His time was a 105.40. So this was a really good run.
I felt
Surreal
bad
is a
leaving
guy
the
that I really
stranded
look
on
up
a
to
giant
in
rock,
terms of Sly 1
but I knew it wouldn't
speedrunning.
be long before
He's
we'd
like a
see each other
legend among
again.
the community. The god of video games. So to have a time that close to him is something that like I consider very good. I'm not gonna say that I can't beat the time, because I definitely can. But for the time being, we're not gonna do any percent for a while. We're gonna do 100% in this game, and we're gonna do some San Andreas, some Sly 3, and potentially some Harry Potter 2. I guess it kinda depends on what mood I'm in. Because I feel like I've been doing a lot of PlayStation stuff. And getting this time was really like, it burned me out. It was pretty like tiring to do. Not saying that I necessarily like this game less now than I did when I started running it, but I don't know. I still love this game to death. But this was very, very hard, and very, very like hard for my mental health to go up against all the time. So that's why I'm gonna take a pretty lengthy break. Like, I don't think I'm gonna do any more of this year. Like, probably the next time I'm gonna do this is in February next year. So that's gonna be interesting. So we're gonna let these credits run out. And then we're done with this restream of my PB. I hope you enjoyed the somewhat slacky commentary. I hope I explained the tricks and whatnot, and I hope people can use this for a reference point if they want to run the game themselves. Or just likes watching good speedruns, because I'd consider this a good speedrun. Considering how bad of a speed game it is. But thank you all for watching this